All we've managed to find is grass. But wait, in the grass is Hosana. Hello, little man. He looks like he's had a rough night. Long Easter weekend, sleeping off the underindulgence in his case. He was looking quite hungry the last time I saw him. It's difficult to see how full he is from this angle. We will check again just now, but he's not breathing heavily or panting heavily like he's had a big meal. And there we go. But he is in prime position at the moment, because if we look off to the right, no more than about 60 meters away is a herd of impala who are definitely unaware of his presence at the moment, but he's about as interested in them. He's just interested in having a nap at the moment, but that can change incredibly quickly with big cats. They can go from fast asleep to wide awake in an absolute split second. Now we have Ali to thank for the sighting. She found him. We can hear some squirrels back up to the north. Now, a very good morning, David. David, unfortunately, there are no updates on the new male just yet. I think the last update was that they crossed into the western sections, and I haven't heard anything yet this morning. If we do hear anything, David, you will be the first to know. Now, I think those squirrels are shouting at possibly a bird of prey. I don't think they've seen Hosana. They sound like they're a bit far away. Oh, it's tired kitty. I think this is the spot where he destroyed Ronald. Somewhere around here. This is where Ronald met its match. The lovely thing about this area of Chitwa is that we've got Hosana here, but it is not unlikely that we might suddenly spot another leopard. You know what I think we should do, Liam? Should we move around to in front of Ali? That way we can look at Hosana and embarrass Ali at the same time. Now, a very, very good question posed by Hunter is that how do we tell the age of a leopard when we meet a new one? Well, Hunter, to be completely honest, we guess. And then there's a bunch of groups around amongst the guides where we put photos up of leopards we don't know or whatnot, and we're hoping that someone there can ID that leopard from somewhere. Okay. Let us see. He's still quite hungry, so he's definitely worth playing the patience game with this morning. Hello, little man. There we go. It looks like he might have eaten something. So after drive to, not last night, the night before, he managed to kill a scrub hare, which is not much of a meal for a leopard of his size and his growing nature. I think you can see how long his whiskers are. They're pretty. Oh. Now, as I say, these impala haven't seen Hosana, and the squirrels are going nuts. And there were tracks of a female leopard coming in this general area, so I wonder if there's another female. But, of course, someone is looking very sprightly this morning. Come on, Vam, let's do a super zoom on Ali. Ali, smile. There we go. there we go. Fortunately, you can't hear what she's saying because the microphone's close to me. She's talking nonsense as usual. She's gabbling in Venezuelan. We can't understand a word Ali is saying. She's talking absolute nonsense. No, I'm only teasing. She did find us the leopard, so thank you, Ali. But yes, so as I said, the interesting thing about this area is that, well, you know what? Those impala are alarming. While Ali is looking after Hosana for us, I'm just going to go quickly have a look where that impala is alarming behind us. I just want to listen a little bit more carefully because we are about to get into the rutting season. So 90% of the impala are looking very relaxed, but the rutting season is starting, so there can be random snorts as they chase each other about. But in the meantime, let us go see what Madam McCurdy is up to. Some impalas that are, unfortunately for him, a bit far out in the open. And there's the party animal coming home late. Let's hope Hippo doesn't spot Hosana. It might chase Hosana, but I think it's going to be far more concerned about heading back to the safety of the water. Okay, it's going to should pop out the other side of this bush in a few seconds. Hosana's definitely spotted the hippo. That's watching the hippo intently. No, don't do it. It's too big for you, Hosana. I know you dream about catching hippos and elephants and giraffe, but they're just out of your league at the moment, young man. Oh, there we go. The hippo is out. Let's actually, I'm just going to quickly catch up with the hippo so we can see it, because often they get quite excited and dash into the water at the last sec. Oh, we're going to be too late. It's already running. We're going to be too late. They do that little run into the water right at the last second. But it gives us a good opportunity to get a better look at our little prince. Hello, Mr. Man. Now, are you still tired? You're hungry. I can see you're hungry, but you are looking still a little bit tired. I didn't catch the name there, please, Rebecca. Girl in the something was wondering what happens if you in the curl. Yeah, girl in the curl is wondering what happens if you meet a hippo on bushwalk. You become very, very cautious. You try avoid it, walk around it, move it. But hippos on foot can be very, very dangerous, and they are prone to... Oh, shame, poor boy. He's got a tick on his top lip. Then why don't you just go grab that off there for a second, please? Let's get rid of that. It's ruining the shot. Get rid of the tick. Yeah, I'll watch. But it is very dangerous, sorry, girl in the curl, to meet a hippo on foot. You treat them very similarly to what you would treat buffalo on foot. With great caution, or ellies for that matter. Well, it seems we are all alone now. We are the only ones playing the patience game with Hosana, because I think he's going to move again because he is quite hungry. Oh, pretty feet. In the meantime, let's go let Tristan finish his thoughts on Chalamba. Where are you that it's raining? Because we are absolutely bone dry with the sun coming out to the east of us. So hopefully the rain stays wherever Taylor is and leaves Liam and I alone, because Liam and I are both firm believers in we don't like being wet. We like being dry. I'm quite comfortable at the moment. Liam, you? Yep. Let's rain, stay with Taylor. Look, I mean, so the sun's coming out. Like, we've got no rain around us. So Taylor is almost, I would say, due north of us at the moment. And it does look quite dark in that direction. Yeah, so Taylor's somewhere there. And let's hope that rain keeps either going north or west or anywhere except southeast, which is where we're sitting. We don't want rain. We want Hosana to wake up, though. Oh, such a pretty little boy. Last time we had him, he was dreaming. No, the last time, second last time we had him, he was having such funny dreams. You could see his eyes moving at high speed, and it was very nice. As I say, knowing Hosana, he was probably dreaming about hunting hippos or elephant or buffalo or rhino or giraffe, because I think in Hosana's mind, he thinks he's as big as a Land Rover. Standing by, one station here, space for 2, make your way. Sorry guys, there's a vehicle trying to get in here, so just quickly telling them that they can come in. And Viam's giving you the body tour of our little chief. Well, let's go to his eyes again quickly. It looks like he might be dreaming again. Look at that. There's something happening in that brain of his. Now, mostly leopards are solitary, Muscle Company. They don't live in family groups. There's only one social cat, and that is lions, one truly social cat. Most other cats will live solitary, unless they are mating or have cubs. And of course, occasionally you do have chance encounters. But look at him, he's dreaming again. Pretty little boy. You catch that hippo, Hosana. You catch that hippo. I just think he's dreaming about hippo because we're so close to the water here. He's in a very good spot because this area is got a plethora of general game around. A nyala, impala, waterbuck. Now the impala are moving out onto the big open area, which is going to make them more difficult for him to even attempt to hunt. But there are some nyala that we saw a little bit earlier just behind us, somewhere in the thickets, which are definitely far more up his alley. So the nyala were just behind here, where Viam's showing now, in the thickets directly behind us. And you see one of them. There's still some impala out in the thickets. But for this very moment, our little chief is showing absolutely zero interest in any of the animals around, apart from the ones in his head. Well. Muscle Company, another question. Great that you are getting those questions through. Is Muscle Company, leopards don't purr. So they are part of the Panthera family, which is sort of the big cat section of cats. And all the Pantheras, or the big cats, cannot purr, but they can roar. And all the smaller cats can purr, but can't roar. And that is to do with a specialized bone in their throat called the hyoid bone, or the hyoid apparatus. And in small cats, it's an ossified bone. It's a completely solid bone. And they cannot roar or make very loud noises. So they can purr, chirp, cheep, meow. However, the big cats that belong to the genus Panthera are able to roar because that hyoid bone is cartilaginous. It's not solid. It's elastic, and basically lion, leopard, snow leopard, tiger, and jaguar are able to push air over that cartilaginous hyoid apparatus, causing it to move and vibrate, and that's how they are able to make roars or saws, depending on which species he is. Dreaming again. Now, don't start drooling, Hosana. That'll be very unbecoming. There's another tick in his ear there, Viam. There's more than one. There's a couple. So we got At least 2 species of tick in his ear. Now, ticks on wild animals out in the bush is common occurrence, and most wild animals are actually immune to 99% of the tick-borne diseases. So what will happen is the ticks will just feed off, catch it. The ticks will feed off the animal's blood, and let's go back to the ear, and there's a big fat grey one there. And once they are completely sated, they'll just drop off and then go lay eggs in the grass. And that'll happen with all the different tick species. They'll just become full and then drop off, lay eggs, and then once they're finished digesting, they'll wait for the next unsuspecting animal to walk past before they clamber back on board. Now, rickettsia, or tick bite fever, is quite common in human beings that catch it. And there are different variations or strains of rickettsia. And generally, once you've had, well, it depends how many times you get bitten by ticks, which is, in our line of work, quite a lot. You can actually build immunity to the different strains. So most of us will be immune to the strain of tick bite fever from this area. I'm immune to the tick bite fever from northern Zululand, KwaZulu-Natal. So a lot of times you just get bitten by enough ticks. And it's quite important, if you do get tick bite fever or rickettsia, a lot of people choose to treat themselves, which is not the actual correct option with that. Because if you just wait it out, you will have immunity to that particular strain of tick bite fever afterwards. It's not very pleasant, very bad headaches and nausea, but that it only lasts for a couple of days, and once you sit out the first bout of tick bite fever without taking any medicine, you will build immunity to tick bite fever for that particular area. Now, I think I'm immune to Western Zambia, Northern Zululand, Southern Tanzania, all the areas that I've spent a lot of time walking and working. You can build up immunity to those different strains of tick bite fever. There's guinea fowl still going off behind the wall there. I'm going to sit here a little bit longer. We might just leave him while he's napping, like we went to look, because there's been an impala lawman calling, there's been squirrels, and the guinea fowl. And while we've got a flat leopard, Tristan's got a leopard on the move. Like being rained on at all. So, and Taylor's to the north of us, and she's getting lots of rain and Buffelshoek boundary, so Viam and I are very happy to stay dry and sit with our little chief Hosana. At the moment he's still fast asleep. Not dreaming as much as he was a little bit earlier. So there we go. Fast asleep. Now, everyone, remember, this is 100% live. You can send your questions through on Twitter with the hashtag SafariLive if you would like to get your questions through to us. Now, if there are any people who have joined recently, we've been following this leopard since it was a few hours old. So we found his mom with a full belly full of cubs and left her at about 7 o'clock in the evening, and we went back at 5 o'clock the next morning, and she had 2 tiny little cubs that were about the size of a very big sausage. And it's incredible to see how much he's grown. He's just over 2 years old now, and we've been lucky enough to document his life from infant through to young adult. Now, we have been watching him dream. Every now and then you see his eyelids flutter and his lip curl slightly. Gem video, leopards don't normally make sounds when they dream. It wouldn't be very advisable because they would give away their position, not only to the potential prey that's around them, but also to potential predators such as lions or other leopards. Now, there's a big misconception that lions and hyenas are the biggest killer of leopards, but 75% of all leopard mortalities in this area is leopard on leopard. So leopards are actually the biggest killers of other leopards, and particularly boys of about Hosana's age. When they move out of their natal area, if they come across any cubs, they will kill them and often eat them. Now, at the moment, we're a little bit worried about Tlalamba, because we think that Hukumuri might have killed that leopard cub. Oh, there we go. Oof, oof. Had a little bit of a twitch there. You can see his paws twitching as he dreams slightly. Now, I have seen leopards dreaming and get so excited that they actually extend their claws, but he's not quite that excited yet. So he must be chasing a steenbok, not a buffalo, in his head. Very tired kitty. Now he is looking quite hungry, and we know he ate a scrub hare 2 nights ago, so he's definitely in need of a meal. Now, of course, the leopard ducks at the moment are shifting heavily, with Hukumuri coming into the fore and Tingana sort of fading into old age. And if Tlalamba has been killed, yes, she would mate with both Tingana and Hukumuri and Djuma and Anderson and any other dominant adult male she can come across. So female leopards have a very interesting survival strategy when it comes to their cubs. So the only time a female leopard will leave her territory is to mate with another male, and she will sometimes move 3 or 4 territories over to mate with the male. So what happens is she mates with all the males that she has the slightest possibility of coming into contact with. All those males think that they are the fathers of the cubs. So it's very, very difficult to actually be certain of who is the dad of a leopard cub without actually doing genetic studies. And it is very interesting. So a female leopard will often mate with 3 or 4 males during her different estrus cycles, convincing each of them, oh, he's dreaming again, convincing each of them that they are the father of the cubs. And that way, the males are less likely to kill the cubs. Now, the main reason male leopards will kill cubs is because as soon as a female leopard loses her cubs, she comes immediately back into estrus, and the males will then start mating with her. Now, quite interestingly, oh, look what we've got on the dashboard here, Vimpy. Look at that. A little one of the grasshoppers. He's just sort of popped out of nowhere. Look at him. Now you can see with his coloration, and you would think the little red antennae on his head would make him stick out and make him an easier target for birds and whatnot. But if you ever look at grass carefully, the bottom's green, and then the seeding part of the grass is often either yellow or red or orange. So if he closes his legs and sits still on a stalk, he will actually blend in with the stalk, and his little antennae there will look like they are part of the grass, either a husking seed or a drying tip. Look at that. He is a very pretty little hopper. And our young prince is still fast asleep. Now, a very interesting question posed by Joe. Is Hosana's back to the wall for protection? I think not, Joe. I think it's probably more for comfort than anything else. What a leopard uses for protection is its ears, its eyes, its smell. So their hearing is incredibly acute. I just think he likes having a backrest. And you can see them do it with logs and sticks and stuff as well. It does work in his advantage, though, in case something does happen. If something does come across, but if anything, it's actually probably a little bit dangerous, because if another leopard was able to sneak up to him above the wall, would drop straight onto him. Oh, he's dreaming again. Look at that. Look at his little... Oh, shame. He's hungry. And in his mind, he's catching everything, but unfortunately, in reality, when he wakes up, he's going to have an empty belly. Now, Hosana, for his age, even though he's a decent-sized leopard, I don't think he's a particularly big leopard in comparison to other leopards I've seen around his age. So, Indiana, I think there's a combination of genetics and feeding as to how big they get. Because if you take some of the leopards that live in the Cape region of South Africa, a big male is already smaller than Hosana, and they only weigh about 40 kilograms. I think he's probably closing in on 60, and that is to do with food availability and food resource. So yes, food plays an important role, but as well genetics also play an important role. But I think Hosana is going to be a decent-sized leopard. I don't think he's going to be a monster leopard like Anderson or Campan. I think he'll probably be similar sized to Hukumuri or Tengana. Now, while young Hosana is taking advantage of his backrest, it sounds like Tengana's gone to sleep without one. Hosana is in the same position as Tengana. But yes, he's still snoozing away. I think what we might do is let's go have a look at the hippos for him. Let's go have a look at the dam, see if there's anything around. And we'll stay close to where he is, but while he's snoozing, well, let him snooze away. But we will stay close by in case he gets moving. He tempted me there with a bit of movement. Look at that. Yeah, just before we move, just how cool is that? Look at him sneaking a peek over the wall. No. Is he bored again? Was there nothing to be had? But how cool is that? That was awesome. But he's gone down again. I just want to see if he does jump up. And let's put ourselves in the right position if he does jump up. Alicia says it looks like he might have been on a timeout staring at the wall, but I love that little peek. I just want to see what he might have heard, might have been looking at. Let's have a quick look from the top. There might be impala moving around at the bottom that we don't know about. Let's have a quick look from the top of the dam wall. Wrong radio. I just called for a quick link. Sorry, Hosana is such a dozy cat. The impala ran straight past him and he didn't even wake up. And they were so close to him. I thought I picked up the wrong radio. When I asked Rebecca for a quick link, I thought I had sold the Game Drive radio for a quick link. But let's go see little Hosana. The impala ran straight past him. He did not even lift his head. Silly boy. I mean, he's hungry, but he can't be that hungry if he passes up a free meal like that. Well, I suppose it wasn't free. He still had a bit of work to do. And there we go. You can see he didn't even move a muscle. He's got himself still using that lovely backrest of his. And impala ran straight past him. He did not even raise an eyebrow. Okay, I just have to be on the game drive radio for a second. Peter, it was Impala alarm calling around Yagi Pan. So here we go. We'll have a quick closer look at him now. But he didn't even notice those Impala come past. There's still a huge amount of prey available not too far away, but he is just snoozing. Here he is, still in, well, almost the same spot. Now, of course, unfortunately, Karula disappeared and has probably moved on to the next, almost certainly moved on to the next plane. Akisha, if Karula was still around, Hosana would be an incredible pain for her, because what he would do is he would, like Quarantine Konuma did, they'd often follow her around and steal her kills at this age. So she would probably be behaving quite aggressively towards him, hissing, snarling, trying to say, "Go away, you're too old to be at home." But in certain circumstances, young males will stay with their mother a lot longer than young females, for example. Come on, boyo. And the fact he's... Our leopard is completely stationary. It sounds like Taylor's got something on the move through the grass. Say everyone else is noisier than you. Now, we've just been for a little wander around, and the reason for that being that there was an Inyala that started alarm calling just down here, and the guinea fowls haven't stopped, and there's a squirrel alarming, but we've literally bashed, dashed, crashed, gone down below the dam wall, and we can't find anything. And also the fact that Hosana is not reacting makes me wonder, is there actually anything there? Is it possibly a python? Because I have seen a Nyala, outside of the big cats, the only other thing I've seen a Nyala bark at is a python. And that was on Djuma, actually. So we went close to the guinea fowl, looked under the bushes. Nothing. Oh. No, they're talking about Hosana. I think someone else is coming to join us again. Oh, now, occasionally, JME, in very unusual circumstances, leopards might mate as siblings. Normally, it's father-daughter, less so mother-son. Father-daughter is the most common sort of inbreeding that happens between leopards. But there is a possibility in extreme circumstances that a brother-sister might mate. But it is very, very unusual in the wild. But it is possible. Now the guinea fowls have gone quiet, the nyala have gone quiet. The chin spot batis, however, has not gone quiet. Taylor McCurdy, I'm sure, has not gone quiet either. Now, each individual leopard has its own unique spots, Lynn, and there might be a leopard that's got symmetrical spots, but most of the spots on the face are not symmetrical. As you can see, they're not perfectly round or dotted. Some of them have amoeba shapes to them. So no, they're not symmetrical at all. Now, as you sort of move into the lower extremities around the belly and lower legs, you can see that the rosettes or spots get quite a lot bigger. Now, Steve, if we had to shave Hosana, yes, you would find slight colour rosettes or spots like the fur. Obviously, there's but not nearly as visible as of course they are on the fur. But yes, there would be possible. There would be. That squirrel's alarming again. Everything's alarming, and I can't find anything. And I've driven. The guinea fowl started again. Maybe they heard Taylor all the way from Buffalo's Hook boundary, and they want to be part of the conversation. I wonder what is causing all these alarm calls. Hosana is taking absolutely no notice, so he's not too worried. Maybe you should be. Otherwise you get yourself into trouble, young man. And Vim and I were actually discussing if it was another leopard, who could it be? Wondering if Thandi might have run all the way south after her altercation with Shidulu. And who else? I mean, Tumba, it could be Tumba. There's 3 unknown males wandering about. It could easily be one of them. One wasn't seen too far from here in Little Gari. So, and he was quite skittish, so maybe it's him. He's ducking and diving from us. But then again, every time I look at Hosana and the fact that he's almost got not a single care in the world, makes me wonder, is it not something else? Or have they spotted a log that looks like a leopard and they just decided to shout their heads off? Very interesting, though. Well, a leopard in hand is better than an alarm call in the bush. And I was really hoping our little mister was going to be a little bit more active this morning. We've still got time. We still have got time. Well, now that Tingana has decided to head into Little Gari, let's see what Tristan's plans are next. Well, he moved about 4 meters and then found a hollow dug by elephants and said, "Ooh, this looks quite comfy." He basically just walked around the back of our car, and then instead of lying down on the left, he's lying down. Oh, look at those teeth. He's laying down on the right. Hey, Bud, what's happening? You keep yawning and get up. Don't yawn and flop down again. We've been patient with you now. It's time that you give us a show. Yes, have a good scratch, get rid of a tickle 3, have a stretch, chase a squirrel, catch an impala. Almost looks like he's actually listening to us. Taylor, one thing I would never call you is boring, but yes, Hosana is far more entertaining. Okay, so he's decided to start moving. We're just trying to get ourselves out of this little thicket we're in. It's that 400-point turn maneuver, and there's a big dickus stump right behind us. So we're getting there. So often we get ourselves at some pretty tight little situations. Okay, I think we should be able to squeeze past now. Nearly. There we go. Let's see what he's up to next. Not quite on the move yet. He stopped for a little sit down and scratcheroo. Now, he's heading to the area where those Inyala were alarm calling earlier. So there is potential prey around. There's always a lot of animals around Chitwa Dam, and he is hungry. He is absolutely gorgeous. Fat cats look happy and are happy, but skinny cats are definitely, in my opinion, I don't know, there's something sort of incredibly elegant and sleek and predatory about a skinny cat. And of course, there's always the potential that they're going to hunt. Excuse me. Now, he's on the move. Now, leopards have retractable claws, YT viewer. Out of the big cats, the only cat that has retractable claws is the cheetah. But there are a few other smaller cats that also don't have retractable claws. But almost all the big cats, members of the genus Panthera, all are able to retract their claws. You can see what I mean about a skinny cat looking just a little bit more. And there we go. The tail is in concentration mode. He's poised. Now, as I said, there were Inyala earlier in that direction that he's looking. Look at that. Good thinky. He might have. Difficult to say whether he spotted them or not just yet. Don't you do it. Don't you go back to sleep. Yes, have a scratch, have a stretch. Well, he's still sort of fiddling about. He did spot some impala, but they're out in the open, and he is slowly making his way towards the edge of the thickets. But unfortunately for Hosana, I think it's going to be a tough ask to get those impala if they're out in the open like that. Look how his ears are listening. So some of the impalas looked like they were heading towards the thickets, but they're still a long way off. And leopards are incredibly patient when it comes to hunting, so he might just sit and watch them for the majority of the day and wait for them to move to an area where it might be a bit easier for him to possibly pounce. You see, he's sitting down now. He's got a nice bit of cover. He's looking out towards the impala. There's some water back there as well. So there's plenty of potential. I'm definitely hoping that he's going to be around this afternoon as well. Now, Hosana's just over 2 years old. Mile got between your signal with us, but we're back. Hosana, fortunately, has not moved a muscle till you decided to join us again, and now he is again moving. And isn't that? He's waiting for you to join us. Now, remember, this is 100% live, coming to you from one of the most iconic African wildlife destinations, the Sabi Sands Game Reserve, part of the Greater Kruger National Park. And if you have any questions, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or just pop a question on your feed and whichever medium you might be watching. So you can see he's sneaking up to the edge of the open areas where there's impala and waterbuck. And I don't think he's going to have much success unless one of those antelope inadvertently comes towards him. But let's move with him. We're going to move parallel to him as not to disturb. What I think he's going to do is he's going to move to the edge of these trees. And then he's going to... Ooh, that was a big stump. Oh dear. And then I think he's going to lie down and wait for them to possibly come towards him. I think Hosana is being very clever. He's decided to have a little snooze because the impala are still quite far from his little thicket here. There is a very good chance that during the day an impala or a herd of impala will wander up to where he's hiding, making it a little bit easier for him to catch a snack. But it looks like his eyes are closed and he's gone back to sleep, so we can move a little bit closer because he's no longer hunting. When the cats are hunting, we're very, very cautious of interfering, so we always try to keep our distance and make sure that they have the best chance of success, and also the prey species like the impala have the best chance of escape. We don't want to intervene or interfere or help either side. We're here to observe. And he is always a fun one to observe, aren't you, Mr. Man? You have been particularly lazy this morning, though. Say when, Vim? You have been particularly lazy this morning. Looks like he's having a hard time waking up. Well, Mrs. Grumpy, he didn't even make 300 meters. He hasn't even made 100 meters. He's walked 80 meters, probably at the most. But it is the right tactic in this area with all those impala on the open area. Lie up close to the edge and wait for the impala to come to you. If I was Hosana, I would do the exact same thing. Now, we've got a leopard with impala too far away, but it seems like Tristan and Taylor are up to their ears in impala. Well, Hosana is doing what he's done for the majority of the morning, apart from, well, one brief moment of walking 80 meters and a brief peek over the wall a little earlier. He has pretty much decided today is a snooze day. Now, of course, we've had a good leopard morning so far, so I'm not sure what Taylor's complaining about. Tingana, Hosana, maybe Taylor. Well, I suppose Taylor has had a bit of luck. She had a couple of drives where she had all the cats and I had to drive around talking nonsense for 3 hours. So it is nice to spend some time with a sleepy Hosana. And I'm sure he'll be around this afternoon. Hopefully he doesn't move too far from here. And hopefully the impala wait to break the edge of the bush till we get here. Okay, now we're going to give you the last view of our little chief as he dozes in a little round-leafed teak thicket, looking absolutely